Hi, this is Charles,
And here is Newman.
and we're back with more AGEODs, American Civil War, late 1864.
Late February. All right, so it's almost the springtime.
Okay, what's happened? You should get used to this. Massive starvation hits are now happening. I'm just gonna change the overlay to supply.
72 hits to supply.
That's a
due to
lot.
lack of supply. 71.
Yeah, 47 up here in West Point. Magruder now is kind of in trouble.
So he's got the red. So
He's nothing. Well,
there's no supply. Well, there's
18%. Oh, I think you get 2/3. He's not for 2/3 of a. Yeah, Cheatham. Basically, we're almost at the point now where he doesn't even need to fight us in Georgia. We're just gonna basically
wither.
like a balloon just pop and be gone. We did get a +19 building union point. Yeah, so there you have that. Ideally, though, we need to get our supply built in Atlanta, Columbus, or Rome. Those would be the ideal locations. So we are increasing our supply production. I just sort of feel that it's too little, too late. What happened here? Oh yeah, look at that. Union's moving in. It's a Union force, yeah. Just kind of militias getting battered around there in Mississippi. Ellington's gone. Look at that. Floyd's still there. That's interesting. He's locked. Can't move him unless he's attacked. Yeah. All right. What are we gonna do? I am going to basically evacuate Dallas and send it to Shreveport, mainly because Shreveport is one of our last depots in this area, and
yeah, it makes sense.
Try to protect it. The Gardner now leads his cavalry force up here. That's kind of moved into Harrisonburg, and there's a little bit of supply there, 13, and they build +11. I'm hoping that can get down to Port Hudson. It's probably also going to be just a little too late. Vicksburg is still besieged. The Reuters going to try to retreat. Morgan's going to come down here.
Georgia.
Try to retake control of this area. We have cavalry incursion here in Walker, so I'm going to send
cavalry incursion.
Yeah,
so you send it out as cavalry.
Yeah, I'm going to send
advanced elements.
I'm going to send Wharton's cavalry division to try to push them out. Gosh, there's just really not a lot we can do. I mean, we just don't have. They're withering away to nothing, basically.
Is there okay? So what? I mean, okay.
Talk to me.
All right.
You're concerned about the starvation.
Well, no, I'm concerned about the starvation. I was just like, is there anything that we can do, sort of creatively, to?
Well, we're doing this. I mean,
we've got the industrialization.
I've actually been up and down to medium in Georgia, and I got the low average in North Carolina. So,
is there anything that you would have done now differently, knowing what you know now, like at the beginning or middle part of the game?
I think probably. Because the taking Norfolk campaign didn't work, and if we had taken that, that would have been a big boost to everything: war supply, general supply. We may have been able to supply the Virginian armies more. I mean, Norfolk was one of the largest harbors at the time of the American Civil War. Actually, it was the largest shipyard in the country at the time of the beginning of the American Civil War. So Jackson, you remember he had some good attacks there,
it was close.
But stalemates. He just wasn't ever able to quite capture them and take the city. And we spent our rail capacity kind of organizing to get there. And rail capacity takes a lot of war supply, and we could have spent that war supply building more brigs early on. I mean, that probably would have been the. Knowing what we know now.
You mentioned that before.
Knowing what we know now, I would have not done the Norfolk campaign. I would have just done brigs early on to get more. Because when you put brigs out here into the blockade box.
Right, yeah. See, this is something I don't know anything about in the game mechanics.
Okay, so basically, you have two blockade boxes. You have the Gulf of Mexico, and you have the Atlantic. Now, it used to be, blockade running was a big deal for the Confederacy to bring in weapons, medical supplies. These types of basically just equipment needed to wage war. Now, you send it to the. So what the game's created is this blockade box, one in the Atlantic, one in the Gulf of Mexico. The Atlantic representing, the European ports, and the Gulf of Mexico representing the Bahamas, Jamaica. These were really popular. Cuba. These were really popular blockade running places. Bermuda, and you put your ship out there. Now it needs to be a brig. Okay, so
these are blockade runners.
Yeah, so a blockade runner is not a type of ship. It just represents a ship that's trying to run the blockade.
And a brig is generally what...
In the game, a brig is what's used to
run the blockade.
They're fast ships, basically. And you want to put it out there on green and evade. So to avoid battle, because we have no interest in fighting the Union.
Right.
And we want to evade combat. So if we do see them, we're going to try to maneuver out of there as well.
Sure.
And you just put them there, and it's going to just... And they know that what we need is war supply. Okay? Because they can bring war supply or they can bring money. Okay, by selling things and then bringing money back.
Well, I guess that's right, yeah.
Okay. But what they know is we need war supply, so they're basically going to be giving money internally and trading that for war supply. Okay? So you put them out there, and there's a message box. It's going to tell you... Usually after all the hits,
blockade runners and the
so we sunk. This is a different one. These shipping. We also have a couple ships here that are trying to sink them, kind of in a CSS Alabama type scenario. Actually, I think the Alabama's out there. There it is. So we sunk 14 money and 2 war supply. Yes. In the Atlantic, we brought back 8 war supply, and the Gulf, we brought back 10 war supply. Now it knows we need more war supply than money, and that's why it's almost all war supply and.
Okay, so this is good. So we brought in 18.
That's huge. That's huge.
That's big.
We only produced 22, so we're almost bringing an end through the blockade of what we actually produced.
So how many brigs do we have in the blockade?
Well, let's count. We're going to count them up here. That's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 in the Atlantic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a total of 9. And if we had gotten that up to 20. It could have been a different story.
I'm sure it's not linear. I'm sure it's the more boats, it's like rising exponentially. I mean,
no, it's the opposite. The more boats you put in, you have decreasing margins of return. That's for basic economic principle.
Yeah. You'd think that there are more blockade runners, the less they would be able to catch. It's kind of like you can't all catch us at once. Who knows? Yeah.
That's not really how blockade.
No.
Okay, well, there's 2 types of blockades. Historically, you had a blockade. You could blockade a port.
Yeah.
Let's see if has he blockaded. I don't really have any ports.
This is good. I know that we're taking a little bit of time.
Yeah, no, this is fine. This is interesting. Actually, he's not. You have what's called a blue water and a brown water blockade.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, so your blockade. This is the blue. This is the blue blockade, and this is the other blue blockade.
Okay, right.
And the brown water blockade are
if they put ships on.
Yeah.
In the coastal area, the coastal waters.
And you need to. You have to put ships in there, a certain number, and if they don't have enough, the tooltip will tell you, okay, you need 2 more, you need 8 more, and it needs to be not on green. It has to be on defense, offense, or assault. Generally, you leave on defense because it keeps your ships in better condition. So
green. Keep them
in. Talking about a blockade, this may be the issue with Vicksburg. Does he?
Do you have ships in there? No.
See, it's not blockaded. 3. You know what it is? That's the issue, and that's how Vicksburg is getting supply. I think he hasn't. Somehow we're getting.
Well, wait a minute. He has enough ships there. Why isn't it being blockaded?
No, I don't think he only has 1 there, and he has 3 there. We have a lot of artillery. He probably needs 12 ships to be able to blockade this. I'm speculating that the number is 12. Yeah. So that could be somehow, for some weird way, why we're not. He's not blockaded this, and that's how supply is still getting in there. Did we get any supply this turn? Whoa, 0. That's the first time it's been 0. We're okay though. We have quite enough for a while.
Okay, well, good. That's a good discussion.
Basically, though, we don't really have very many ports left, and he's at a 95%. Look at that. He has lots of squadrons out there. He has lots of squadrons out here. 95%. So he's almost maxed out the blockade. You remember I said he had the blockade at 100% the last turn. I'd never even seen that. I didn't even know that was possible. So now what that does is the higher this percentage is, and this is where the game gets really interesting. See that? The higher this percentage is, to represent a higher blockade, our port cities are going to do what? Produce less supply.
Sure.
Less money. So the higher, if you're the Union, the higher percentage you can get out here, the less supply and money, and I think more supply that your harbor cities,
the Confederate harbor cities,
exactly, are going to produce. So what does that represent? It just shows that it's harder for them to sell things.
Sure.
So there's a lot going on there. But like historically, there was a lot going on with blockade running and the blockade. So it's it's complicated because it needs to be complex to represent a realistic historical situation.
Sure.
Yeah. So there you go. What is this guy? Oh, I have some. Let me get these journals out of here. Ooh, we have a recruiting general. See this little symbol here is a recruiting officer. So let's
stick him down and. You can fly him, right?
Yeah, I get one turn to move.
There he is.
Okay, right now this is producing 1. So I'm going to put him in the city. I'm going to try to put him in the city.
Nope. Should flash put in
there
the
it is.
city. Yeah.
Now it's produced 7. So this guy is good at recruiting our boys. So he's going to produce an additional 6 conscript companies per turn. And I didn't even know these guys were up here. That's kind of weird. Oh, you know why it is? Because they've just been created because it's a new year. So let's get them out of there. Some down here to
Harrisburg.
Yeah, well, Goldsboro. North Carolina. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send Lee here. I don't want this guy moving in here, and that looks like that's not what he's gonna do. So look at that supply though. 0 supply in Goldsboro, 30 in Raleigh, 46 in Wilmington, 0 in Raleigh. Yeah, so it's looking tough. So that's pretty much the turn. He's halted the campaign in the winter. I mean,
yeah. We can expect.
He's maneuvering, but
I think we can expect bad things
in about 2 months,
2 or 3 turns. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been a late February 64, and I think we're probably going to make it to the summer, and then it could be the end.
All right.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.